Hello, I'm Nicole118581's, a professional artist and teacher, and I'm going to be having a little chat about Derwent watercolour pencils. Derwent have a long history of producing good quality drawing materials, and I remember I was a little girl going to the Lake District and visiting the pencil museum and being absolutely enthralled by all the fantastic colours, and I still am today. In fact, I'm having a bit of a love affair with my watercolour pencils at the moment because they seem to be cropping up in everything that I do. So I'm going to be telling you about some of the things that I use them for. I chat to a lot of my students about quality of materials. A lot of them will sort of compare their colours. They say, well, your sap green looks different to my sap green. That's because different producers use different techniques and different pigments for making the end product. Now, Derwent use a good quality pigment. In fact, these are very light fast, maximum light fastness, which is important. And they're also produced to a high level where the pigments are nice and smooth and very pure. It's you know, the pigments are true. You can use them dry or you can dip them into water. And the colour that they pop on the end, oh, can you see? That's actually the colour that you've got in your pencil. There's as many as 72 fantastic colours to choose from, or you can buy them in selection boxes. So anyway, that's about the pencil. What am I going to show you? Yes, a good way of using them is I always have them with me wherever I'm going. And if you're out gathering information, doing some sketching, but you don't want to be bothered to take the paints and water and all the rest of it, but you need to have some colour reference apart from just words. Well, what you can do is take your pencils with you, of course, and just put, I don't know if you'll be able to see this, just put a bit of the pigments on, say 2 pigments, and blend them together dry. And if you haven't got a spray or a water pen with you, what about a bit of good old-fashioned spit? And there, I've blended them together. So that then is a reference point for the colour, which is great. Another very useful way of using them is when you're doing your final watercolour painting, your grand masterpiece. Instead of using a graphite pencil, which a lot of people do, and then they're worried about it showing through their more transparent watercolours, you can use a watercolour pencil. Why not? Just pick the nearest colour to the section you're doing, you know, a green for some foliage or a terracotta for a roof, and then when you come to put the paint on, you can just blend that in, so it just blends seamlessly with your painting, which is brilliant. Now, I'm going to show you this finally. Ooh, you can see that. Hello. Having a few technical problems, but I'm sure I'm not the only person. I'm big into doing vineyards at the moment, and one of the lovely things about the vines is when they've given up their grapes usually, the leaves really start to change colour, and they go the most wonderful sort of russets, terracottas, raspberries, blackcurrants, absolutely amazing. So to capture that in my watercolour painting, I can use a number of methods. I mean, I've used watercolour paint, just dropping the pigments in to build it up. But then sometimes the leaves develop these lovely little bits of spot of colour round the vein areas. So to achieve that, what I do, and I'm not going to be able to show it very well, but what I do is I put water on the area that I want this little dot effect to go, and then with a piece of sandpaper and my selected watercolour pencil, I just grate over the area, over the leaf. Now, where there isn't moisture, the pigment won't stay, so you just blow it away. But where the pigment lands in the water, you'll start to get these marvellous little starbursts of colour, really, really super. And they'll pop up and they'll start to spread and merge. And it's really great to watch it, and it gives you some fantastic effects. I mean, you can also, if that area is wet, you can also just pen in and draw pigment out to get special effects. So that's me chatting about Derwent watercolour pencils. I've got them all over my hands. I hope that's okay, gives you an idea of how I can present, and thank you very much for watching.